Hello and welcome to this Game Week 2 Prem predictions. Now, it's very unfortunate that as you know, maybe missed the first week. Um, but we cannot do anything about that now. So, I think instead we should just jump straight into it. And for the first game, we have Brighton facing off against Manchester United at home. Even though we all know Manchester United have a much better squad. They have Eric and half his old Ajax team, so you never know what you're gonna get. However, it feels like there's a bit of a different feel. It's not like the same toxic environment, at least from looking out and into it. It doesn't feel like that. So we're gonna go with a not a easy, but we're definitely gonna go with a Manchester United win, and I think a 3-1 would not be crazy to say. That's my guess. For the second game, we have Crystal Palace against West Ham at Selhurst Lane. And now, obviously, West Ham on paper have a much better team, especially now. Michael Olise leaving the Eagles definitely shows a bit of weakness. And now we watched them in the first game against Aston Villa, and Palace doesn't really look too dangerous on the attack. But then again, they just need a chance or two, and who knows, maybe they score 2 goals. So this is like a tough one. But actually, I think it's going to be a tie, a draw, a 2-2 draw with the goals coming in from the new signings. And yeah, it's going to be exciting to see at least. And for the third game, we have Fulham taking on Leicester at home. And now, obviously, Fulham have made some great signings. Maybe they're going to make an additional or 2 more, who knows. But especially with the signing of Emil Smith-Rowe, it definitely adds a lot of fluidity and and threat to the attack, which they, in my opinion, did not have at least last season. So that's definitely something for Leicester to watch out for. And Leicester's squad really doesn't seem like anything out of the ordinary. Like it's one of the worst squads, if not the worst in the whole league. So I think it's gonna be an easy Fulham win, maybe a 2-0. And for the fourth game, now we have Manchester City taking on Ipswich Town at home. You know, it's Sharon's new team. This is it's sad to say because it's always fun to see the new team on the block. Ipswich, I haven't been here for many years, and they're finally back. However, that being said, I can easily see this as a game for Erling Haaland to score his first hat trick, and I actually think he will. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 3-0 Manchester City. And for the next game, we have the Saints Southampton at home against Nottingham Forest. And this is one of those games where personally I'm not going to watch it. That's a bit mean, I know. However, I think it's gonna be a snooze fest. It can go both ways, or it can even end in a 0-0. I'm gonna say that it's going to end in a 0-0, but one goal either end wouldn't surprise me. And now it comes to Spurs, who takes on Everton at home. And the thing with Spurs is, you never know what you're gonna get. They can beat the best team on that day, and they can, the next game, lose to anybody. And now they just had, I wouldn't say a bad game, but a bit of an unfortunate ending to the game against Leicester last week. So they definitely need to pick up some points. And at home against Everton, it shouldn't be too much of an obstacle, but at the same time, you never know. However, I'm going to say it's going to be a dominant performance, 2-0 victory without the most trouble, maybe a little bit of frustration at the beginning, but nothing out of the ordinary. And then we come to the, I would say, biggest game of the week, which is Aston Villa, who takes on Arsenal at home. And if you look back, last year, both of the teams are very similar, have the same manager, have a lot of the same players. So there's not really going to be too much of a difference in that regard. And in recent history, Aston Villa really have some big success. And if you just look at the last previous 2 games, they won both. So it's definitely a hard one for Arsenal. But at the same time, there's something about Arsenal this year continuing what they started last year. And I think this is going to be the time where Arsenal break the curse against the old manager, against Emery. So I think it's going to be like a very intense and hard-fought game. But in the end, I'm calling a 3-1 Arsenal victory. And then for the games on Sunday, first off, we start with Bournemouth, who takes on Newcastle. I think Bournemouth without Solanke, they definitely took out their striking ability, and I don't see where the goals are supposed to come from this year. So I think maybe they can create a few chances, but I have no clue who's supposed to actually score the goals. And therefore, I'm going to say it's going to be an easy Newcastle win. Maybe even an Isaac hat-trick. So that's what I'm going to say, 3-0 Newcastle. And for the second to last game, we have Wolves, who takes on Chelsea at home. And now, obviously, it would be fun to start predicting which players actually going to play for Chelsea. But I think that's next to impossible, so we're not going to try that. However, what we're going to try to do is look at Chelsea's new manager, look at the squad, look at the players, look at the new signings, possibly getting Felix back. I don't know why they do that, but for some reason. And at the same time, also Pedro Neto saying hi to his old club, making an appearance, presumptuously, I don't know, maybe. So I definitely think that Wolves have something. Like, they looked a bit dangerous against Arsenal, so I don't think they will get empty-handed out from this. And therefore, I'm going to say a 2-1 Wolves win. And for the last game, we have Liverpool against Brentford. And this is, I guess, Arne Slot's first home game as new Liverpool coach after Klopp, obviously. Taking on Brentford, Thomas Frank, and maybe Ivan Toney, who knows? Haven't been seen him lately. Didn't play the first game of the season, but no, this is definitely going to be a Liverpool win. I think Brentford had like a good run and they had like some strengths, but I can't see where this is supposed to come from. Maybe Embremo can get a chance or two. So I definitely think that Brentford could be able to score a goal. But at the same time, I think Liverpool could score 4 or 5. So I think we could very easily see a 4-1 win for Liverpool. And yeah, that's my predictions. I would love to hear what you think about it. If you have any insider knowledge, if there's anything you want to add,